Hey everybody. I was just at the store the other day and I happened to notice that the price of a 1 pound propane tank, one of these little Coleman bottles, a lot of people call them, one of those was $5 at Walmart. They sell them in a 2-pack for $10. I saw them at the Tractor Supply in a 2-pack for $13. And so the prices of these are getting absolutely ridiculous. I bought a 4-pack of these bottles several years ago. I paid $3.50 a piece for the bottles, and I have been refilling those same 4 bottles ever since, and it only cost me about 67 cents per bottle. I use a little valve like this I paid $5 for, and then as I refill each one of those tanks, it costs me approximately 67 cents per tank. So I'm going to show you how I do that, and while you may not be able to save that much money, I can still show you how to save an awful lot of money on these propane tanks, not to mention the sheer volume of waste. If you've ever been to a campground on a Sunday afternoon or a Monday morning and you've seen how many hundreds and hundreds of these are piled up around the trash cans, you'll realize how wasteful it is. Again, I've been using these same 4 bottles for the last 3 or 4 years without having to throw any of them away, and it only cost me 67 cents per bottle. So I'm going to show you how I do that right now. Alright, now the first thing I'm going to do is show you how I actually fill it up, and while it's filling, we will go ahead and talk about some options on how to save some money. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to install this valve into the propane tank itself. It's a reverse threaded valve, so you're going to twist it in there counterclockwise, almost like you were unscrewing it, and that's how you're going to screw it in. I have found that you don't need tools. You don't really need to crank that in there with a wrench or anything, but you really do need to get it snugged in there nice and tight by hand. We then take our propane bottle. There are ways you can prepare this bottle. If you watch different videos online, you'll see people telling you how to mess around with this little pressure relief valve and all that kind of stuff. I have found that simply putting the bottle in the freezer, or this time of year if it's very cold outside, just leave it outside overnight. You got a nice cold bottle. That's going to give you most of a fill. It won't fill it all the way back up, but it'll give you most of a refill, and you don't have to mess with anything. You just put the bottle in the freezer for a couple hours, get it cold, and you're good to go. So you get your tank screwed in, that's screwed in, turn it over first. Once it's turned over, you open the valve and let it start filling, and it'll take 3 or 4 minutes to get completely filled up. You'll hear when all the hissing stops and goes away. So these bottles here are the exchange bottles. If you're not familiar with them, you can pick them up at most grocery stores, gas stations, hardware stores, and you have to pay a fairly significant amount of money for your initial bottle. But then after that, you can simply take the empty bottle back, you can exchange it, and it costs you about $20 and you get a fresh tank. That's one way of doing this that will certainly save you money over buying individual bottles. It'll also prevent you from wasting all the bottles and throwing them away, etc. But that's still going to be fairly costly. First of all, once you've got one of these bottles, you're going to have to get one and just bite the bullet. It's going to be a $60 or $70 first purchase once you get that initial purchase. But you're only going to get 15 pounds of propane in this tank, not the full 20 that it can hold. These only come with 15 pounds in them. The other reason you don't want to exchange these is you can never get them fully emptied. So when you exchange them, they still have a fair amount of propane left in the bottom. So you're starting with 15 pounds and you're probably returning it with 2 or 3 pounds of propane in it anyway. And so you're only getting about 10 pounds of propane for what you're paying for. If you have a welding supply or an air gas facility around you that sells different bottled gases, you can take these tanks there, which is what I do, and it costs me $13.50 to fill this whole tank up with a full 20 gallons. And so I'm paying about 67 cents a gallon. I mean a pound, not gallon, I'm sorry. It's 20 pounds for $13.50. And so I can fill 20 of those bottles at 67 cents a piece. Now, as this tank gets lower and lower, you're going to get less and less efficient of a fill. So what I do is, now that it's full, you're not hearing any more hissing, even if you shake it a little bit. While it's still upside down, you turn it off, close that valve again. Now you flip it over. And when you unscrew it, you want to do it fairly quickly. There's going to be a little hiss, a little bit of gas is going to escape. and we're filled up to about right there, I guess, on this bottle. But this is also getting kind of low, and that's what I was saying. The lower this gets, the less you'll be able to get into each one of these. So as this starts getting a little bit low, I take it and I get it refilled. The difference is I'm only paying for what I get. When you take these and exchange them, you're giving them that bottle back, and whatever propane's in it, you're just giving that propane back. And then you're getting a new bottle that has 15 pounds in it. What I do is, when I know I'm going to be going over towards the area where the welding supply place is, I just grab my half-empty bottle, throw it in the truck. When I'm over there, I top it off. I'm only paying for the fuel I get, just like when you get gas in your car. So I might only pay $6 and I'll top this tank off, and then I bring it home and I got a full tank again. And so by doing that, I always keep the tank full. I'm always able to give a really good solid refill on these, and I just never have to worry about it again. I haven't bought these bottles in 4 years or 3 years, and I pay 67 cents a piece to refill them. So I'll put a link to this little valve here, and then you're on your own as far as buying one of those bottles, but it'll save you a lot of money on propane. I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you real soon.